Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. We got another Washington Commanders weekly stream, and in today's stream, I got my guy Juan Gotti from Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Make sure you guys check him out. Link is in the description. Go ahead and subscribe to him. And in today's stream, we got a lot to talk about. So, one, we're going to talk about the Blockbuster trade that just went down in the NFL with the Panthers trading up all the way to the number one overall pick with the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about free agency because in a few days, free agency starts or the legal tampering period starts. We could start to know some new commanders on Monday. You know, not officially until Wednesday, but we could hear it on Monday. So I'm very excited for that. And we'll do some ownership updates as well. So Juan, appreciate you coming on. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Pedro. I appreciate you for having me on as always, man. And like you already just said, bro, it's happening. And then we could definitely be seeing some new stuff, transpire with this team. Probably not to the magnitude of what just went down, because that's probably the biggest thing that we'll see. But man, that's crazy. I know this is a commander stream and stuff. We probably should start there, because I mean that was insane. I'm like, DJ Moore, really, I knew they was always in the running for the first pick, but literally I did not expect them to have to give up that much. Like, what was it? I don't even know. I know it was like 2 firsts this year and DJ Moore and then a couple of
Yeah,
seconds.
it
Like,
was.
it was crazy, man.
Yeah, we'll start off with that while we wait for some, people to get in here. If you're not super into the NFL, or if you're just into the Commanders and you don't really care too much about what's going on, you guys can skip till. If you guys are not watching live, you guys can watch later. But I do want to talk about that trade because it's an absolute huge trade. So obviously, the Panthers get the number one overall pick, and then the Bears get the Bears get the number ninth overall pick this year, a number 61st overall pick this year as well, which is a second round pick. They also get a 2024 first round pick and a 2025 second round pick. And they also get DJ Moore. So I think the Bears did a really, really good job in what they got. Not only did they get good draft compensation, they still are in the top 10, but they also are able to get a elite pass catcher for their young franchise QB. So let's say hi to some people in the chat. What's up, DeAndre Taylor, King Sean, JP6, Goddess on Belton, Daniel, my guy, King Sean, JP6, and Swiper TVJ. So yeah, big news. That's probably going to be one of the biggest, breaking news in the this offseason, really. Besides maybe Aaron Rodgers going somewhere, maybe there's another situation that we don't know about. Maybe Lamar goes somewhere, but that's huge news. So Juan, your thoughts on that, and who do you think won the trade?
I mean, obviously, like, Chicago, like, they were already like primed to be successful, moving forward, because they already had the number one pick, so you already knew that they were going to be able to fleece somebody for that pick. And then I want to say that they had like the most cap space headed into this all season, so you already knew that they were going to be set up. But then you get Justin Fields, a legitimate number one receiver, in DJ Moore. You now are at the ninth pick, so I mean, I don't know what they do there. Maybe go offensive line, maybe get another weapon. I mean, you have Chase Claypool, but how confident are you in him? Darnell Mooney, like, they're loaded, man. The Bears just went from obviously being lower level, and now they could be a true contender in the NFC, and especially with no legitimate like front runner like quarterback in this division. I mean, it's crazy to say, but is it like Jalen Hurts right now is probably the best quarterback in the NFC, and that's saying a lot for him only going into his third year starting. So man, he could go from the Bears could go from mid bottom to NFC powerhouse, dare I say, and contender, and just Justin Fields being going from another quarterback, going to a top quarterback. This is the year for Justin Fields. Obviously, we know he can get it done with his legs, but this is the year to prove that he's the guy for them and with his arm, because I mean obviously like I said, we know he can do with his legs. Now you got a
Yeah.
number one receiver, you got more draft capital, so they're gonna be set for the future, man, like years to come.
Yeah, I agree, and we'll talk about the that trade a little bit more going on in the stream. I think overall great trade for the Bears, and hey, if they select the right QB, I think it's a win-win, right? Young or CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson, whoever it is, and they turn out to be a franchise QB, it's a win-win for both sides. But they better get that pick right, because if not, they gave up a ton for that. What's up, Ethan, my guy, as
Yeah.
well. Daniel says if he somehow falls to us, we have to take Anthony Richardson. Well, I think very, very low chance. I mean, you did say somehow falls to us. I think probably we get 4 quarterbacks in the top 5, because you got number 1, Panthers obviously taking QB. Number 2, Texans definitely taking QB. I think 3 is Arizona, and they'll probably trade out and there'll be a QB there. And then 4, it'll be the Colts, and they're taking QB. I don't know. I'm not a huge Anthony Richardson guy. I did see what he did at the combine. Think it was amazing. I just am very concerned about the 1 year starting in college. You look at a lot of those QBs that only started 1 year in college, and they haven't had a lot of success in the NFL. And I kind of do want our next regime to take a QB. So I doubt we do take a QB. But if they're absolutely in love with Anthony Richardson and he was there at 16 or whatever, they could take him. I don't think he will be. How about you, Juan?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be there. I mean, that's why I was just on my phone there. That now there's talks of the Panthers actually trading back from the first pick, which would be stupid by them. It wouldn't be no point to do that. But yeah, I'm hearing that the Panthers really like Anthony Richardson, so I mean they could take him with number 1, which in my opinion wouldn't be the smartest thing to do. I would just go Bryce Young, but they could definitely take him, and I don't see him making it to 16. But if we do get in a situation where he goes 16, the way Ron Rivera is talking about Sam Howell, I still don't think that that's something that they want to do or they would do, because they are speaking highly of Sam Howell, and they really want to see what he has. So even if he was there, I would not expect them to take him. I don't know if I personally would take Anthony Richardson either. But I mean, again, you don't know if a situation like that happens, you can't really turn it down. It would just be weird, because if he falls at 16 and we take him, but then we're all in on Sam Howell, it's gonna be weird, because it's like we didn't do nothing to really improve our team. We, instead of taking linemen in the first round or cornerback, we just take a quarterback that is gonna sit regardless. Like, it would be weird. So I don't even know if I would want to do that, honestly.
It would be very interesting in that situation. Honestly, you might have a team want to jump up and get him if he's still on the board at 16, and maybe you can trade down. I think trading down would be a good scenario for the Commanders, regardless this offseason or this draft. They did it last year, and I think it worked out in that trade back. And so the Saints got Olave. We got basically Dotson, Sam Howell, Cole Turner, and Brian Robinson. I think it worked out for both teams, but I really like what we got in the return. So I wouldn't mind a trade back. Daniel says, what are your thoughts on Stetson Bennett? I mean, he looked good in the combine drills. He's probably going to be a late round pick, and the Commanders do need another QB in the room. They're probably going to add a veteran, and then after that, they still probably need another guy. So I wouldn't mind him or Tanner McKee or the BYU quarterback, I think Jaron Hall or whatever. One of those guys in the later rounds, I would not mind it, because I'll take them any day over Stetson Bennett, over Jake Fromm, who is absolutely awful. So yeah, I wouldn't mind taking a late round QB. So let's see. I don't agree with any first round pick outside of O line or linebacker. I mean, linebacker this year, there's like no good linebacker prospect linebackers. There probably won't be one in the first round. So it's going to be hard for us to take one in the first round. O line would not mind, or cornerback would not mind at all. So let's see. Let's get into free agency one. So free agency right around the corner. Monday is when we're going to start to hear things. And unfortunately, Commanders, Dan Snyder still hasn't sold the team, and he doesn't have a lot of money. So he doesn't have a lot of money to give out and to, convert to signing bonuses to sign these big time players. But he's still, going to give Rivera some money, and they're still probably going to go out and sign some guys. So I'll start first, and then you can give some guys or positions you want to go after. So I did make a video going over my top 5 guys, but some guys I do like. Bobby Okereke, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that, might be a little bit outside their budget, but I do think they should upgrade that linebacker position substantially. And I think that he would upgrade that linebacker position, probably like 12 to 14 mil. If you wanted to upgrade even more, you could go after Tremaine Edmonds, but that would cost a lot of money, but I still would be okay with it. And then there's a couple other linebackers as well. Kaiser White is a cheaper option. Shaq Thompson, former Panthers running back, got released today. So by the Panthers. So we know Ron likes his former Carolina players, could go after him as well. That's a guy that makes sense. I think linebacker, they got to add someone. And Cole Holcomb, you can bring him back too. I think they should bring him back and then add a veteran or a rookie in that 2nd to 4th round. They need to do that. And then some other guys that like Foster Moreau, young tight end out, from, the Oakland Raiders. He's been playing behind, Darren Waller for a while now, but he's been playing pretty well. And then you have Irv Smith is another, solid tight end, young guy. Hasn't really shown his full potential. I believe he was a 2nd-round pick out of Alabama. Wouldn't mind him. And then, Mike Gesicki is another option, guys like that. But I like Foster Moreau as my top guy. And then running back, Jerick McKinnon would make sense. Reunite him with Eric Bieniemy. And we do need probably a pass-catching back if, McKissick's retiring or we release him. But I am interested to see one guy that really interested to see in Eric Bieniemy's offense is Antonio Gibson. Very, very talented, and Scott Turner definitely did not utilize him and get him to his full potential. So that is one guy I'm really intrigued to see this year. And then O-line, Austin Wiley wouldn't be a bad option. Ben Jones, Powers, those are, Bozeman, those are guys that the Commanders could sign as well. I would not mind a free agent guard or something like that, and a guy that can come and start at a pretty high level tackle, and your O-line is much, much better. So either give me some guys you like or positions you think we should go after. And Scott Turner was absolutely atrocious. And I'm so happy we went from him to Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, so shout out to my man Jairus. Was good. Was good, Jairus. First of all,
was good, Jairus.
I got, like we said a couple days ago, to me, like, there's no free agent like that I'm just dying for or feel like we need to just go out there and get. If anything, they're just this free agency for me is going to be to fill the depth. This free agency is going to remind me a lot of 2020 Ron Rivera's first year free agency. Remember when he first came here, he was signing guys like J.D. McKissick, Logan Thomas, and I don't want to say everybody, but myself, I was kind of upset because I'm like, I was waiting for that big splash guy, and it never happened. But looking back on hindsight 2020, that was really good by Ron because he allowed us to have some depth pieces at worst, but also potential guys that could show out. And what happened? Logan Thomas showed out. J.D. McKissick showed out. Wes Schweitzer, Eric Flowers. Like, I think Eric Flowers may have been 21. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, these guys actually stepped up. So that's exactly what I think this year's free agency is going to be like. But it probably a little bit more, easy to stomach because now we actually have talent. We have a talented roster already. So this off season or this free agency could be legitimately used to fill in the depth, and we'd be fine with it because we actually have a team that can compete. Back in 2020, we really didn't because we were starting from the bottom. So when we were signing guys like Logan Thomas, we didn't understand that going into free agency. We wanted to get the big guys, but now knowing that we already have a good team and we really just need depth, this could be what free agency could be for us. And like you said, some positions that I think we should address in free agency is obviously the guard position, linebacker if we want to go a veteran route. I don't know, would y'all take a swing at Donovan Smith? I probably don't expect them to because he's 29. You got
The
Charles Leno.
tackle?
Yeah, Charles
I
Leno.
don't know. He looked pretty bad. I know he was good in the past, but this past year he did not look good. He looked like he kept on getting beat, holding penalties, and I got a couple injuries. He's probably on the wrong side of 30 soon. So I would probably pass. But I did a lot of players in the last 48 to 72 hours have been released. So there's some good talent there that the free agent class wasn't great. It's still not great, but with these new guys like Adam Thielen, Shaq Thompson, and other guys, it has improved a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, I heard you talking about tight end. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of the guys that are like, tight end is not that big of a need to me. I like what we got with Logan Thomas, Cole Turner, and Amani Rogers. But if we were to like go out and sign a guy like Dalton Schultz, who's 26 years old, and who was pretty good for Dallas, I would not mind that. If we was to sign a guy like Mike Gesicki, like you mentioned, I would actually be fine with that. But I just know our team. I know we're really faithful to our guys, so I don't expect us to take a swing at guys like that. I mean, you heard Ron Rivera already made guy giving Logan Thomas the benefit of the doubt. So I don't expect us to really address the tight end position. But if we were to do something like that, and we were to go get like a Dalton Schultz, I would be definitely fine with that. But guard, could we possibly find J.D. McKissick's replacement? Again, I don't know what we're gonna do with him. I haven't heard anybody talking much about JD. But I would not be surprised if we were to cut him because again, this is neck injury. It's the second straight year of his neck injury happening. So I don't know how confident
Or
we
an
are.
injury settlement or like him retiring, something like that.
Yeah, so maybe find his replacement. I would probably do that in the draft. Um, but yeah, man, just really for me, guard, linebacker, uh, probably looking to some edge. But other than that, this free agent class is very underwhelming. So I really want us to do all of our work in the draft, to be honest.
Yep, and you build through the draft. I mean, most of the really good teams, they build through the draft and maybe they get to that next level through free agency or through a trade like the Eagles did. They built their team through the draft. Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, I believe was a free agent or undrafted free agent signing. So basically the draft, a bunch of other guys in their defense as well. And they got to that next level by trading for AJ Brown, signing or trading for Gardner Johnson, that put them over the edge, signing James Bradbury. But their main core was built through the draft. And that's how you have to do it. A lot of our young core is built through the draft, but we still got to add. We still got to add to it. And we'll see if Sam Howell is that guy. We're going to be in a very good position. It really just depends on how. And he gets a year. He gets a year to see how he does. And if he is okay this year, then we'll see what we do. If he does great or if he does good, if he's a top 20, top 15 quarterback in his first year starting, so basically his rookie year, then I think you build around him. And this is an interesting situation to be in. Ecom says Gonzalez, or he kind of lays out his draft scenarios 1 through 5. One is Gonzalez, but probably not there. Then Witherspoon, then Porter, trade back or take a tackle. Yeah, I think trading back is a good option again this year. Yeah, you did a good job doing it last year, and if you trade back, get some good pieces, wouldn't mind it. Paris Johnson's also a good pick as well. But yeah, free agency, do not expect them to sign a bunch of players. DeAndre says, y'all mentioned Slay. Yeah, Slay is being I didn't mention it, but Slay they're making him available for trade. I don't think he's going to get traded, but if he does, it's not going to be here. But Eagles could be losing another guy. They did re-sign Brandon Graham, but the Eagles could lose a lot of guys. So, yeah, let's see. Todd says, "Hey guys, how are you doing? Sorry about the Hokies. Yeah, Hokies not good for the basketball season or the football season. Yeah, hopefully Couture and Grant are able to come back and help the team. But yeah, Hokies not good
Are
this
they good
year.
in any sports?
Women's basketball, I think they're the number 1 seed. They're going to be a number 1 seed, and then some other sports like wrestling, I think they're top 10. But the two main ones, football and men's basketball, this year not great. Last year they won the ACC, but hopefully they're a little bit better next year. But it is what it is. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, free agency, it's gonna be a little quiet, but let's hope they can, go ahead and fill some of those holes. Not necessarily build through free agency, but hey, maybe fill one of those guard holes. Maybe get some better cornerback depth. Maybe a slot guy in the corner that's a fringe starter. I think we need to improve our cornerback depth. Even if we do get a first round corner, still need to improve that depth because Benjamin St-Juste, whether we like it or not, we know he's injury prone. He's injury prone. So you can't rely on him to play 17 games. So you got to find a guy that can come in if he gets hurt. And then D-line, I think they're fine. Linebackers, go ahead and get a guy in free agency. If you bring back Holcomb, that's okay. And that's great. I still think even if you bring back Cole Holcomb, you got to add a veteran that's better than what we have on the roster. And Gary, Mayo, Bostic, any of those guys. So, I think corner should be addressed through the draft, but I still think they should bring in a veteran guy that's a fringe starter to improve the depth, and then get a guy in the first or second round. And then linebacker, I think it should be addressed through free agency. And if you like a guy in the draft, go ahead and get one. What's up, Big Simple? Appreciate you coming through. Todd says, I hope we dropped an O lineman. I hope we dropped the big kid out of Ohio State, Paris Johnson. Yeah, he's solid as well. Josh Montana says, how early do you want us to draft a tight end in the draft? Definitely not first round. If we traded back in the first and got like another second, I wouldn't mind using one of those seconds on a tight end. But using our 1 second on tight end would be, I don't know, that would be tough. But I wouldn't absolutely mind it if it's someone like Darnell Washington, who honestly, he's that big that a lot of teams are going to use him as their sixth offensive lineman sometimes because he's 6'7", 265, and really, really strong. Like, he's a beast. But I don't know. I think second is the earliest I would go, but that's if we trade back and get another second round pick. You probably wouldn't want to take one in the second, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm one of the guys that are like fine with our tight end room, because of based off of the potential and upside of our guys that's behind Logan Thomas. But the only time I'll be like fine with upgrading the tight end position now is like I said, if we get a one out of the free agency. But if we get to a position like round 4 and like we already addressed all of our needs for it and we took a tight end, why not? I wouldn't be mad at it. But like me going into it a need or whatever, or like a need, I'm probably not the guy to be like happy about or like ask about wanting to draft the tight end because I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, I agree. He says, what do you think about Jimmy G maybe signing with the Commanders or Taylor Heineke coming back? Would like for Taylor Heineke to come back. Jimmy G, though, on the other hand, let's keep him away from here. I think the worst spot to be in is paying a veteran that is not going to ever be top 10. But you're paying him 35 plus mil. That's what Jimmy G is probably going to get. That's what Derek Carr is getting. That's what Daniel Jones is getting. And I just don't like that idea. I think you either or have one of those top 7, top 8 guys. Usually in the past, I would say top 10, top 12. But I feel like the quality of QBs after the top 5 is much lower than it was 6, 7 years ago. Because you look at like who's the 10th ranked QB in the league right now, and the quality is like not that great. Like you could, 10th best QB in the league, 5, 7 years ago was a franchise QB. Now, not necessarily. Like, if you look at it, you have some elite guys that are franchise guys. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Herbert, that's 5. You throw Lamar in there, that's 6. Who else? Who else am I missing? That's definitely a franchise guy. Anyone I'm missing?
Who'd you already say? Mahomes, Allen, Lamar,
Burrow, Hurts,
Burrow.
Maybe Trevor Lawrence I can throw in there. I think
Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Dak Prescott. I don't know if you're counting. You're probably counting the young guy. So
I'm counting anyone. But do you think right now the way like Prescott played, he's like definitively a franchise guy or no? Like
I mean, me, if you're asking me, no, but like technically he still is based off the money he is, and then based off the Cowboys not wanting to give him up, and then yeah, I guess now we got to throw Daniel Jones in that conversation, right? I mean, he just got paid.
I
Geno
don't think
Smith,
he's like. I
like
think they're over.
our personal opinions, we may not think they're franchise guys, but like technically they are
Yeah, they're
now.
getting paid. They're getting paid as franchise guys, but in my eyes, they're not. So like, I would say those seven I named are 100% like those guys are franchise QBs. I would be really, really happy to have any of those guys as my franchise QBs. The other guys, I'm debating whether I'm paying Dak Prescott 45, 50 mil a year. I'm debating whether I'm paying Daniel Jones 40 mil. All these guys, I'm debating. Those other guys, no. And then
What
if
about
you have a guy like Sam Howell and you're paying him 700K and he ends up being good, that's great. That is great. But the other ones, it's just not great to pay a mid QB 40 million because you can win with a mid QB on a rookie deal. You can. You know, Mac Jones, the Patriots will be able to win with Mac Jones
what
on a
about
rookie
Kenny
deal.
Pickett?
What?
What about Kenny Pickett?
I think it's too early to put him in either category. We will see. I think he had a solid rookie year, but too early to tell either way if he's going to be a franchise guy. But I like Kenny Pickett.
Because I mean, you just said Mac Jones, and I know a lot of Patriots fans that like aren't sold on Mac Jones
Oh no,
yet.
I'm saying Mac Jones. I'm saying he's a mid QB, and
Oh,
you can win with a mid QB on a rookie deal. But it's hard to win with a mid QB on a contract that's 40 million, 45 mil. Like Daniel Jones, yeah, you know, you can win with him paying him 7 mil a year, 6 mil a year. Can you win with him making 40? Same thing with some of these other QBs. That's kind of the dilemma, and that's why I think it's good to either rookie or elite QB. Kyler, I was thinking about putting Kyler there. I still don't know. I think he's in that top 10 conversation, top 12, but I personally don't know if he's a like my definition of franchise guy is a little bit different, but like he's not a great leader. The injury, he's only had one injury, but inconsistent play, like I don't know. I don't really know if I would put him in that category yet, just because of the bad or poor play like late in the season. Sorry, and in the playoffs and the lack of maturity. How about you on Kyler? Like I would take Kyler in a heartbeat, but I don't know if he's worth 47, 48 mil is what he's getting right now.
yeah, definitely not. I mean, especially coming off of a torn ACL, and then the season that he already had put up before that. I was a big Kyler Murray fan, like not a huge Kyler Murray fan, but I like exciting guys, that are like cheesy in a way, that like run around and just make magic, like Mahomes, Kyler, Allen. That's why Josh Allen is my favorite non like Washington Commanders player, because I like guys like that, and that's what Kyler Murray is and was. But no, I don't think he's worth the contract he's getting paid. But we'll see what Arizona does. But yeah, I don't. Kyler being a franchise guy, I think I would still consider him that. Like, but then again, at one point we were considering Baker Mayfield a franchise guy. Ah,
Yeah, Kyler could like I think appreciate that, Todd. I think Kyler, you could debate whether he's top 10. He's probably 9, 10, 11 in that range. But I don't think you can definitively say he's a franchise guy. I think it's debatable. I really think it is debatable. And yeah, he didn't have great coaching and didn't have always the best weapons around him. But this past season he had Hollywood Brown, he had DeAndre Hopkins, but it's debatable with Kyler. But those other guys I talked about, I think it's non-debatable. Herbert, Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Allen, Lamar, Lawrence. Those guys are franchise guys. Those guys are franchise guys. Some other guys, they still have to prove it. Justin Fields, maybe he will be, maybe he won't. Kyler Murray, maybe. Dak Prescott was, once upon a time, maybe even like 1 or 2 years ago. But is he right now? I don't know. That's just an interesting dilemma right there. But I know the Commanders don't have a great QB, but I'd rather be in our position than the position that, some other teams are where they're forced to pay a not great QB for yeah, a lot of money. So that's kind of it on the QB situation. Of course, I appreciate that, Tyler, that you subscribed. If you guys are new, make sure you guys subscribe to me. on the road to 11K. Also, subscribe to Juan. First link in the description. Ownership news, real quick. Josh Harris, it was announced that he has, I forgot what the guy's name, but he added a partner in terms of his bid. The guy's a billionaire, DC guy. I think founded a radio station here. So that's a important development. Also, Adam Schefter reported that. So that just the fact that he reported that, he hasn't really reported on the Commanders sale. That's another big step, I believe, in this whole situation. And I think it's going to happen before the end of March. I really think it's going to happen before the end of March. I'm really hoping it does happen, and we can just be done. Yeah, WTEM. There we go. Shout out Todd for that, founder of WTEM, and I'll get the name in a second. But yeah, it's a step. I'll take Josh Harris 1,000,000 times out of a million over Dan Snyder. And I don't like the only one I don't really want is Tillman Fertitta. Hasn't really done a good job with the Rockets, but still will take him over Dan Snyder. So the Josh Harris, the guy's name is Mitchell Rails, is a co-founder of the Danaher Corporation, DC's largest company, and founded WTEM. So it could be Josh Harris, owner of the Sixers. I think it's the Devils, maybe the Flyers. I know the Flyers are in Philadelphia, but I heard Devils the other day. So let's see. He is the owner of I don't know. I'm gonna find out in a second, but yeah, he's a rich guy. Hopefully, he buys the Commanders, and we can just.
He owns the Devils.
Owner of the Devils, which is a hockey team. So yeah, there we go with Josh Harris. Pretty good owner, candidate. Again, I don't really care who it is unless it's not Dan Snyder. And honestly, Tillman Fertitta, not a huge fan of him. Took over the Rockets in 2017. And they've kind of been downhill ever since. He inherited a very good team, a team that, really pushed the, Warriors, that dynasty. And now they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. I mean, the worst, or bottom three. They don't have a good coach and not really developing their young players. So that's just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just looking. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I've been saying it all along. As long as it's not Dan Snyder, I don't really care. And then you look at the Devils. I mean, when you look at stuff like that, like looking at the last guy with the Rockets, that's not good. You look at the Devils. I mean, they're like in the prime position to make the playoffs this year. And then the Sixers, obviously a top seed in the Eastern Conference in the NBA. So I mean, he has a good track record when it comes to that. So yeah, I definitely would not mind him. But I'm just ready to get it over with and just get a new owner in the building, man.
Yeah, I'm just totally done with Dan Snyder. Get him out of here. All that toxicity and just yeah, I just absolutely despise Dan Snyder. Very happy to move on from him and get someone else. And whoever it is will be better than Dan Snyder. I can guarantee that. We have 24 years of proof of him just being awful. Awful. Let's see. Smooth Mike says, would you move 2 firsts for him? Big potential. I'm not falling for this. Because I think this is the same guy. Who always does this. And if you aren't Smooth Mike, I'm sorry, but this guy named Luck always makes a donation. It's about $1.99, and then he does a statement like this where you don't know who the player is, and then I'm always like, oh, what player were you talking about? And then they do the D's nuts joke. So I'm not gonna fall for it. If you're actually being truthful, you can put the name in the comment section. If you're not, if this isn't the person, I'm very sorry. Just comment down who you're talking about. But I think it's Luck, and I'm not trying to get got today. So I said it would never happen again. So I'm a little bit more locked right now.
I mean, it definitely. Oh my god, It definitely looks a little weird with the profile picture.
It
But I
looks like
mean,
an internet pic.
yeah, it definitely can be somebody real though. So.
It could be someone real, and if you are, just go ahead and comment the name of the player you're talking about, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. But appreciate the donation nonetheless. DeAndre says, I think the addition of Rails is huge for the team moving back to DC. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge, big, DC guy, owner of the largest company. He probably has a lot of connections, and maybe he can get us that RFK site back. Honestly, I would love the RFK site. As long as it's back in DC, I'm happy. Just don't want it to be back in FedEx. Like, whatever you do, no FedEx. Because I know you're from Maryland, but I just don't like the hour and a half trip all the way up there. Bring it back to DC. How far is Landover from your place?
Like 15 minutes. So
15 minutes.
I love it. Whereas I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean it's
I'm, what?
no. I was just gonna say it's partly longer because for me because of the we go by Metro because I'm not trying to pay $50+ for parking, but that's why it takes like an hour plus. But hey, put it in DC, and I'd be. How far is DC from your place? Like 30?
Probably like 20 minutes. Like
Yeah,
everything.
DC's like 30 from my place. So
Yeah,
I
like
would like DC.
yeah,
I
like
would be happy with
everything
DC
is
for sure.
where I'm at. Everything is like nearby. So like I'm in like the perfect place. Like I don't like FedEx Field. Well, I'll be honest. Okay, FedEx Field is bad. Okay, it's bad to y'all, but to me, I all the times I've been to FedEx Field, I've never had a terrible experience. Like I've really, I'm not a season ticket holder, so no, I don't go to every game. No, I didn't have sewage leakage. I wasn't there when the stadium fell. Like, but all the times I've been, I've had a good experience. The bathroom was clean, the food wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. That my seating, especially for the last game I've been to, the Jaguars Week 1 was amazing. Like I had, I definitely would like a new stadium. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending FedEx Field, but I definitely haven't had a bad stay there. And then obviously for me, it's right there. It's 15 minutes from my house, so obviously I don't want it to change because it's convenient for me. But hey, wherever it is, I'll find a way to go to a game.
Yeah, I mean DC doesn't. It's an extra 5 minutes for you, so not too bad. I think DC is perfect for everyone because it's kind of in the middle of Virginia and Maryland, so it makes that drive for the Virginians a little bit, closer. It makes it closer, obviously, for DC residents, and makes it a little bit further for Maryland people. But that's fine. That's fine for me and I heard another location would be Loudoun County, which would be in Virginia. Wouldn't mind that, but again, I prefer it to be not FedEx. That's the last place I want it to be. I prefer it to be RFK or DC. That's the preferred destination, and then Loudoun County would be all right. That would be pretty close to DC, anyways. But new stadium's going to take a while. New stadium's going to take a while, probably another 5+ years. I know the contract ends in like 2026, 2027, but it's going to take a while, especially if Josh Harris is the owner, he's already working on a new stadium with the Sixers. So if that's the case, I mean, he's going to be prioritized on that before he starts going with the Commanders' new stadium. So that's just something to consider right there. And yeah, I mean, the only NFL stadium I've been is to FedEx Field. It's not awful for me. It's okay. Is it a state of the art facility? No. I also haven't seen others, but for me, it's okay. The biggest issue is the location and the parking for me, how long it is, and if you do go by car, you got to pay $50. But I assume that's a lot of other places, but yeah, it isn't the best stadium. I mean, it is not a great stadium, but I think people overreact a little bit. And it's just because we're a bottom tier organization. So everything with us is exaggerated. And then you see like the sewer stuff falling out of the stadium. Everyone makes a big deal out of that. And then people falling on Jalen Hurts. But for me, it's okay. But I will gladly take a new stadium. And if Jeff Bezos was our owner, we would be getting the prime stadium, top or $10 billion stadium, something crazy like that. Probably not 10 bill, but like $5 billion, something like that. One of the best stadiums in the world, and I would love that. Tassis went to the Titans game, my first NFL game with mom. Didn't have a bad experience at all. Like the new team shop was just there buying gear from a belated birthday. Happy late birthday! And yeah, I haven't had a bad experience there. Haven't been to many home games. I'm trying to think because especially with YouTube, it's if you do go to the game, you can't make a quick post game reaction unless you just do one in the parking lot. Like what was Ed did one in the parking lot. I remember 2020 against the Cowboys. If I went to a game, I would probably be doing the same. I would probably do the same exact thing and maybe do a vlog. But the vlogs are hard. The vlogs are a lot of work. Juan, you know that. I know you've done a couple vlogs. It's a lot of work.
I actually went live in the stadium too, so it was pretty cool because I mean, well, yeah, I know what you're talking about with Ed. He did the Cowboys game for I think like 2018 maybe, because 2020, obviously nobody could go, but I do remember watching that game because that was the game Josh Norman got cooked. It was week 2 versus Dallas. I remember that.
It was like the title. It might have been 2019. I think it was 2019, and the title had something with Josh Norman because he was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Terry had like 2 touchdowns, or he had a touchdown at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, and I forgot his name. The guy. Oh, yeah, because it was some random light-skinned receiver just cooking Josh Norman. I think he had like 2 touchdowns on that.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I did a live stream there this year. During before the game, Cameron Curl's dad. Shout out to his dad. He was in the background, and I didn't even recognize it was him. So yeah, it is definitely challenging to record because you want to like soak in the moment. That's why I kind of I recorded like the most important parts, like even the Jahan Dawson 2 touchdowns. But it definitely, if I could just like soak it all in, that's why I wasn't recording like a lot. If I could just soak it all in, then yeah, I definitely would. So I probably maybe if I go again, I probably won't do a vlog again because like I want to soak it all in.
And what I do like is the and we'll get back to football in a second. I do like going to the preseason games. I know it's kind of lame, but it's so cheap. You can get like front row tickets besides there's like the MVP section, which you can't get unless you're like a season ticket holder. But the section back behind that, you can get it for relatively cheap, like $20, and you get to see all the main players. I mean, they're all playing. It might just be a quarter or two, but you still get to see them, and I think it's a good experience. But let's get back to football. Very, very excited that we're like in the thick of things for the NFL offseason. It is, we're not going to be very active in free agency. Still, though, I feel like nonetheless it'll be exciting. After that, after we fill some holes, we'll probably hear some ownership news. And then after that, it'll be the draft. And hopefully when we get a new owner, they're going to have the money and we're going to be able to go after, or not go after, but extend Deron Payne, maybe Cam Curl, guys like that. Because I just want people to realize, and some people, even like guys that have big influences on Twitter, like Washington Today, Jordan, they don't realize Dan Snyder has no money right now. He has $1 billion in debt. He has been not broke, but you know what I mean. He hasn't been very liquid. And what's up, Vance? I'll answer that question in a bit. He hasn't been very liquid in the last couple years. What does that mean? He doesn't have a lot of money for signing bonuses or to restructure contracts to convert money to signing bonuses. He doesn't have that. So Lamar Jackson, why are we not going after him? At least one of the reasons, it's not because of Ron Rivera and Ron Rivera, he doesn't want to do it. No, it's because Dan Snyder is selling the teams. He does not want to. First off, he's about to sell. Why is he going to pay Lamar Jackson $250 million, fully guaranteed, and maybe like $100-something million signing bonus? Obviously, some of that will be paid by the next owner, but a lot of it would be paid by Dan. Why would he pay that when he could just be like, okay, I'll let the next owner pay that? If it's a small contract like a few mil, okay, Dan might be like, okay, I'll pay that for you, Ron. I'll do a service to the fans or whatever he's going to say. But 100 mil, 200 mil, that's too much. And second off, even if he had the money, he probably wouldn't do it because he's selling the team. And number two, he just doesn't have the money. He's $1 billion in debt. So once he sells the team, obviously he's going to be in a very, very good situation. And if he wanted to, he could probably be a little bit more liquid if he sold some of his assets. But he just doesn't have that money to, go after Lamar, or even like I saw Washington today on Twitter saying like, oh, like if we really wanted to, we could create a lot of cap space. Well, yeah, if we had money, if Dan had money, if he was liquid, he could do that, because a lot of the contracts we have on the book, Kendall Fuller, Curtis Samuel, Charles Leno, Chase Roulier, you could convert that to a signing bonus, give them some money up front, but lower that cap hit. But Dan doesn't have a lot of money. There's guys you can restructure to ask to take a pay cut, but like a full restructure where you convert it to a signing bonus, probably not, because Dan doesn't have a lot of money right now. So that's why I think it's very, very important for Dan to sell quick so we can get a new owner. Your thought?
Yeah, I definitely when this thing first came out, about Dan Snyder selling the team and stuff like that, it was like, yeah, this thing could be over like late March or whatever, but the way it's going, it's probably not gonna be over maybe till like May or late April if it's still gonna happen. Just because of all the things that's coming out about it. You know, this wasn't gonna be an easy process. You knew Dan Snyder was gonna be a pain. And like you've mentioned plenty times, he doesn't have again as much more stuff come out. He doesn't have as much money as we once thought, or as we thought. Yeah, like we thought. We came out that he has like what, a $55 million like loan that he took out for, and it wasn't approved or anything. You mentioned he's $1 billion in debt. Like, that's a crazy amount of money. So he needs this team to be sold. So I don't even understand why he's being so picky. Like, bro, you need this. But again, like I said, we'll take it day by day. I try not to look at it into it daily, just because it's gonna be a lot of the same thing. And also we just need a new owner, man. It doesn't matter to me who it is. So yeah, that's really much all I have to say on
Yeah,
this.
as long as his name's not Dan Snyder, I'll be happy. And if I'm being a little bit picky, just not Tillman Fertitta either. Vance says, would you cut Leno if we draft a tackle? Depends. If we draft a left tackle at 16 or later, if we trade back, because I think a lot of the top tackles, there's not like super, like great prospects for tackle. Like there's some really good ones. Maybe we trade back, let's say to trade back to like 26 and draft Broderick Jones or one of those guys. Paris Johnson, I think it'll be gone by then. But let's say we trade back, get a tackle, and he's a left tackle. Then I would be like, okay, I'll go to Leno, pull him aside, be like, okay, Charles, this guy, he's going to be our starting left tackle. We would love to move you to right tackle. And if you're good with that, let's get it. You're going to be great for this offensive line. You'll be able to develop these guys and play at a good level. If he says no, hey, it is what it is. I mean, we just invested a first round pick in this guy. I'm not going to, he's starting a left tackle. But if it's a guy like, let's say we draft Darnell Wright or someone like who's more suited to be a right tackle, then I would probably not cut Charles Leno. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, as you guys know, I would not mind if we drafted a left tackle at 16, because I know we definitely could upgrade. But I also, on the same spectrum, don't think Charles Leno is the worst of the worst. He's just mid. He's average, and Washington could be in a position to where, like, hey, we really can find a left tackle later in the draft or next year, even, or and draft our cornerback or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't cut Charles Leno unless we draft a left tackle in the first round. Now, will we be taking a cap hit for Charles Leno? I'm not sure. I think is he going into his last year?
If we cut him or no?
Yeah, if we cut
he has this year and another year, I believe. So if we cut him, we'll probably save some money. We would take probably a little bit of a cap hit.
Yeah,
But
so I mean, if we draft like Osiris Torrance or like a left tackle at 16, and then I'm pretty sure you're gonna cut him. He's due 9 million this year and 11 million next year, and the cap hit that we would take would be 12 if we cut him. A $12 million cap hit. So probably I wouldn't cut him. Maybe. If we drafted him, I would probably just like try to move on the right. It wouldn't make sense though. Now I'm looking at it. Now I'm looking at it. It wouldn't make sense because you got Sam Cosmi, who you believe in that can be your franchise
but
right
you could
tackle.
also put Cosme at guard in that situation too.
And you can put him at guard too if you want. That's tough. That's tough. If we drafted a tackle, ooh, I don't know. That's actually pretty tough. Because I mean, you drafted a tackle would be like a temporary fix for the whole offensive line. Because then you could put the young guy left tackle. You could put Cosme at guard, right guard, and then you could put Charles Leno at right tackle. But that's a temporary fix because again, Leno's getting but so older. Okay, so at some point he's going to have to leave. And then you're gonna push Cosme back out the right tackle, and then you still gotta get guards. Who's to say we don't draft guards later in the draft? And who's to say Chris Paul doesn't turn out to be something like? It's very tricky right now. So I don't know I don't know what I would do if we was to draft a guard at 16. I mean, I was tackle at 16.
Yeah, and hey, I'm with some of you guys in the chat. Like, I think Cosme can be a good tackle. He was a good tackle in his rookie year. This past year was just, I still don't understand what happened. He started out at right tackle, then he got hurt. He wasn't fully healthy, and he was kind of rotating in and out. And I don't know if he ever got fully healthy, and he might have gotten fully healthy at the end of the year, and they were still rotating him in and out, which is, for me, is ludicrous. Like, he's your second-round pick. Start him at right tackle. It's not like Lucas was lighting it up. He was honestly getting beat a ton. So, I don't know. I would not mind Cosme at right tackle. I really wouldn't. But if they find a better replacement and they think it makes sense to put him at guard, okay. If they find a really good guard or two really good guards, then hey, then I would put Cosme at right tackle. So I think it also sucks for Cosme. Like he is just like he doesn't know what he's playing. Think about that. Like he has to go into the offseason not knowing what position he's playing. Maybe they told him already, and if so, that's great. But I doubt they told him. And he's got to go in and tackles sometimes and guards. Their weights are differently. They train differently. It's a totally different position. And to not know maybe until May what position you're gonna play, I don't like that. I don't like that for the development of Sam Cosme. So yeah, Gus Bus says Darnell Washington would be what Don Warren was to Joe Jacoby, except he can also make. Yeah, I mean I wasn't around to watch then, but yeah, I mean you look at Darnell Washington in the combine, and yeah, the 40-yard dash was great, vertical was great, and the highlights were great. But watch the sled. Look up Darnell Washington sled drill at the combine, and he just moved that thing really, really far. And you look at him, and there's a clip of him doing it, and then Michael Mayer doing it, and the other guys doing it. It was like two different species doing it. Like it was totally different. He will be a good he could play O-line, honestly, if he put on a little bit of weight. He'll be good. And yeah, he's also good, pass catching. He's 6'7". He's a beast. He is 265, runs a 4.6, and also can block. Is the best blocking tight end in this class. So if he just develops a little bit more as a pass catcher, that would be great. Did you see the clip or not?
Yeah, so
Yeah, just him pushing that sled versus the other guys. It's not even the same league. Just absolutely insane to me. And then someone says, "Bring back Flowers." Would not mind Flowers. Hey, bring that guy back. Did a really good job. Did a really good job for us. And then we cut him for Andrew Norwell, who was worse. So did not like that move at all. And my gut reaction when they cut Flowers was, man, this is a bad move. Then they signed Norwell for cheap, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a solid move. I thought he was going to be much better. Boy, was I wrong. He was terrible. He was not good this year. He was not good. Should not be a starting guard in this league. and I hope we move on from him. Let's see. So we're gonna wrap it up in a few minutes. Any more questions you guys have, go ahead and put that in the chat down below, and of course, subscribe to Juan Gotti. Link in the description.
I kind of.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was kind of about to say I want Eric Flowers back too. I was begging the table for him too, but looking at it now, it has to be a reason why he's not signed. Like, it has to be. It's going on.
It could be he wants too much money, maybe.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, bro, you're obviously not gonna get that. So how bad do you want to play football? Like, I mean, it could be a situation where he's like, if I'm not getting paid as much as I want, then I'm not gonna play football again. But it's like, you're still gonna make millions. But I mean, I understand. Know your worth. Whatever you feel like you're worth for, then yeah, I get it. But then again, looking back on the 2021 draft at 19, right quick. Now that we are removed from there, we're talking about guards again. When I remember we did a mock draft on my channel. That's crazy that was 2 years ago that we did that mock draft. But we did a mock draft on my channel, and it was. I remember I think we took Elijah Vera Tucker at 19. So I look back on that. I'm like, now 2023, we could possibly have had a franchise right guard or left guard right now, but instead Jamin Davis, which I'm not mad at because I still believe in Jamin Davis. I still believe he could be, a really good linebacker, or Christian Darrisaw, like Gus Bus said. No, actually, I think did Christian Darrisaw go before 19?
I think he went after. My thoughts were like, give me the whole time. My favorite players for the Commanders to draft were Christian Darrisaw and Elijah Vera Tucker. Christian Darrisaw and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They both were there. We didn't pick them. And Christian Darrisaw looks like a franchise tackle and is a fellow Hokie. And then, what's his name? Owusu-Koramoah has been pretty good as well. Jamin, I think it's just he first year was terrible. Second year, he was solid. But still not showing like, okay, this guy's a first-round pick and somewhat expected. He's supposed to be a project, but I think that maybe they wouldn't have been able to get him in the second round, Gus Bus, because I did see a lot of mock drafts with him in the late first. But we could have definitely traded back, got some more assets, and drafted him in with the 27th pick, 28th pick, and traded back 10 picks, still get Jamin Davis, but get some assets. But we'll see how Jamin plays. We'll see if he gets better. I mean, he took a big jump in his second year. Now this is the year where I need to see, he took a big jump from year 1 to year 2. I need to see that same jump year 2, year 3. I need to see him go to a borderline Pro Bowl player. We saw some big plays this year. I need to see every game, I need to see 1 or 2 plays where I'm like, okay, that's why we drafted him with the 19th overall pick. Because I didn't see any of those plays really in his rookie year besides a couple. This year I saw some more, but still not many of them, right? I didn't see many where I'm like, dang, this guy is a beast. This guy's going to be a good player for a long time. I need to see that this year a ton. And I need to have him be a borderline Pro Bowler. Not a Pro Bowler, but a very good linebacker, above average linebacker to good linebacker in his third year. And that would be a successful season for him, in my opinion. He needs to take that big step, close to a Pro Bowl player, if not a Pro Bowl player. Your thoughts on that too?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. With how Jamin Davis should be used, he should definitely I wouldn't say be more advanced than where he's at now because he's in a solid spot. But he's such a great athlete that I'm kind of mad that we're just using him as just a stand-up linebacker. I hate that people try to compare him to Micah Parsons. He's not Micah Parsons. Nobody's Micah Parsons for real. But I would definitely use him more in when he was blitzing last year.
He got a couple sacks, right?
Yeah, man. We need to start using him more just as a chess piece. He's a guy that you can move all around. That's when he's at his best. When he doesn't have to think, he can just go. But he's definitely getting better. And I'm definitely expecting a big year from him in year 3, like you said. Borderline Pro Bowl year, man. If we resign Cole Holcomb, which I think that we should do. Him and Kohoko could be the duo for the future, man. I mean, again, looking back on it, 2021, I don't think Ron Rivera probably would draft him again in the first round. But again, it was a project. It's a project. It's still going on, so he probably won't really be ready to like go into maybe year 4. But year 3 is the year that I definitely need to see some improvements. That's what it was. That's what it's for me. That's how it is for me with all of our first round picks. Like even with Dwayne Haskins, yes, as much as I wanted him to just come in day 1 and may God rest his soul, but as bad as I wanted him to come in year 1 and be great and be good, I was like, I'll give him at least to year 3. If he's not terrible, if he's at least showing signs of improvement, then I'll give him into year 3. But I mean, obviously, we know that didn't happen. He wasn't really showing any consistent improvements. And then the same with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. I don't really like judging our guys until the 3rd year, so this is the big test. And then Chase Young, I wasn't gonna judge him until this year, but obviously we know he got injured, so he kind of got like a reset in a way. In my eyes, there are a lot of fans that's calling him a bust already, but Jimmy Davis is the same way for me.
Yeah, and for me also, I think also depends on where you were drafted. If you're number 1 overall pick, number 2, like if you're in the top 5, I think expectations are a little bit different. I think you got to show some a little earlier. But when you're like 8, like when you're in that 12 to 20 range, then it's like, okay, it might take a little bit longer for you to show you're that guy. You have to show it eventually, definitely by year 3, hopefully by year 2. But Chase Young needs to step up this year. Like he's got to be better this year. He has to be better. Like he has to show why we drafted him with that number 2 overall pick. Or else it's just like a Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not calling him a bust. He's not a bust yet. But if he has another season, like if he has a 5-sack season this year or a 6-sack season, that's when I'll be like, okay, this man's Jadeveon Clowney, or not even Jadeveon Clowney. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I need to have a big year from Chase Young this year if we're going to pay him. Gus Bus says the Bears should definitely trade a 2nd and a 3rd for Deron Payne after they got the haul from Carolina. Hey, give me the Ravens 2nd-round pick, which is a little bit higher than what Carolina got. I think Carolina gave him the 61st pick in the draft, which is a late 2, like one of the last picks in the 2nd round. Give me the Ravens, which still isn't much better. Give me I would do because it's a late 2nd. I think Deron's worth more than that. Give me the 3rd you got and a future 3rd. I know that's a lot, but the future 3rd's not valued as highly, and you're giving me a late 2nd. So give me that 2nd. Give me your lowest 3rd-round pick this year, and give me a future 3rd. And I would do that for Deron Payne. But I still want to. I just give me bring back Deron. Pay him as much as you can. Once we get the new ownership, I think they'll be able to do it and pay him. Bring him back. Don't know if he will. I think he's going to go wherever the money is the highest. But if we offer him a good deal, I think he'll be like, I've been living here for 5 years, I guess. Have a good relationship with some of the players, hopefully. And he'll be like, okay, I'll just, instead of having to start completely over, I'll take that 22, 23 mil a year. But if he's not getting that contract, he's not going to, what I'll say, he's not going to take a pay cut to stay. He's not taking no pay cut. But if we offer him what he's worth, I think he'll come back. But, he wants that money, and I cannot blame him. So I think we're going to end it off that. A lot of stuff. And, I'm just excited. I'm excited for Monday. Don't know if we'll make a move. Really don't know. It could be like a week where we don't make a move, or we sign like one guy. Forgot one thing. We did sign an O-lineman today, Drew Hamilton or something like that. I know him was in the last name, and he's a 6'10", 6'9" offensive lineman. He's a unit. We signed him last year, got released because of failed physical, and that's really it. So that is it. Juan, appreciate you for coming on. As usual, sub up to Juan. Link is in the description. And yeah, man, anything you want to plug? I think Top of the Morning's coming back.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for having me on as always. If you guys want to check out more Commanders and NFL content like Pedro's, you can come to my channel at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Subscribe over there. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. And yeah, the all top of the morning, and we'll be making a return soon here um, on the channel. And yeah, I'm excited for free agency. I'm excited for the draft. And again, it's me, boy Juan Gotti. So see you guys next time.
Yeah, man, and appreciate everyone for coming through. I know some people got in here just now, but if you want to just rewatch, go ahead and watch. You guys can watch the replay. Yeah, hey, go Terps. I mean, I'll root for Terps. You know, Terps have
Go
nothing against
Terps.
the Terps.
Maryland, baby. Even though I'm not gonna act like I watch college sports, I'm gonna support my home state. So go Terps, baby.
Yeah, wish Tech was in, but they're not going to be in. So yeah, appreciate everyone for coming through. Willie, Gus, Bus, Big Simple, Jacob, Todd. Let's see, Daniel and Vance, Roy, Todd, everyone. Appreciate all you guys for coming through. And yeah, till next time, peace, guys.
Peace.